Thank you so much for inviting the National Employment Law Project to be here today. Our mission is very much what Representative Sanchez described. It's to make sure that we eradicate the reality of the working poor. Anyone who works should have the promise of economic opportunity that this country should provide, livable wages, good sustaining benefits, a career path, and someone being treated with dignity and respect. And that's why we are so proud to be here today, standing in support of this very important and long overdue legislation. The people who care for our elderly and sick relatives and family and friends, these people give their hearts and their souls and their body to this work. They care for our most vulnerable people. I remember John, the man who cared for my grandfather in the last 2 years of his life as he was dying of Parkinson's. He allowed him to stay in the home that he loved, to keep going to church on a regular basis and praying for the strength and grace to sustain the indignities that his body was facing. He made it possible that the family didn't have to care for my grandfather in a way that would have stripped his dignity. And he loved my grandfather. And this is a man, like all of the healthcare, direct care providers, who deserves not only the full protection of our minimum wage and overtime laws, but so much more. And this is a very important first step. These workers care for the most vulnerable members of our communities and our families, but they should not be the most vulnerable members of the workforce. And this legislation is an important step to correct that injustice. We commend the Department of Labor, who is treating this with the seriousness that it deserves and moving forward to correct the bad regulations that have existed for far too long. But as we all know, regulations change with political regimes, and this is an issue that is far too important to be at the whim of a political regime. So we commend Representative Sanchez for getting the ball rolling and doing the right thing, and making sure that the hard-working men and women who care for our family members and our friends no longer suffer from substandard wages. We also know that disproportionately, not entirely obviously, but disproportionately, healthcare workers and direct care workers are women and are people of color. So there are very important civil rights ramifications to this bill as well, and it is something that will stop the feminization of poverty and help raise working families into better conditions overall. So this is an important part of the economic recovery that this country